Good morning, everyone. Sorry I'm on a couple minutes late. It's 10:21 here over in Washington. I was trying to sew as much of this block as I could before the video started. So, when you jump on, just say hi. This week we are talking about week 6, the corner block B. So, jump on. When you jump on, say hi so I can make sure I can see comments, okay? Hi, Carrie. Oh, good. I can see comments. I just know the last quilt along I did a couple times, I couldn't see comments, and it was like I did the whole video and I had no idea nobody was commenting. Everybody was commenting. So this week, if you had no troubles with block A, corner block B is basically a mirror image of block A. So we will be making 2 of block B's this week. And then next week we have 4 blocks next week, and those are the last blocks, and then we can put our tops together. If you guys have questions throughout the video, just let me know. If you watched last week's video, so this is kind of be a little bit of repeating of last week's. So basically, I like to lay all my blocks out exactly how it is in the pattern on my table next to my sewing machine. And I just sew together these 2 blocks, then these 2, these 2, these 2, these 2. Then I lay them back down on the table, snip them apart, lay them back down, and then I add this row, and this row. So just kind of like chain piecing each strip together. I like to form this type of block in strips, and then you would iron them in alternating ways. Hi, Jessica. I'm glad you made it. I know I started a couple minutes late. Oh, yeah, and so I forgot. So, yeah, usually I do these on Tuesdays, but this week, over the weekend, we had a huge windstorm, and one of the branches from our tree, almost the size of a log, it's probably like this big around, fell on the top of my car and busted my moonroof, and it made a huge dent, busted my racks on top too. So, yeah, you can say hi. Hello. Loud. Okay, he just wanted to say hi real quick. So Monday, I had to go in and get an estimate for that, and then so everything I had to do on Monday got pushed to Tuesday. So that's why we are doing the video on Wednesday this week. Sorry about that. But yeah, it was a crazy windstorm. The whole area just kept losing power, and thankfully we only lost power for probably about 45 minutes. We usually don't lose power for very long, but so now my car has to be in the shop for 10 working days. So next Monday I have to drop it off, and then I don't get it back for 2 weeks. Oh. Hi Lisa, hi Paige. Glad you guys could join. So, yeah, that's why we're on Wednesday this week. But, good morning, Lynn. Thankfully, no branches hit any humans, and no trees fell on our house. So, that's good, right? Good morning, Roberta. Because last year, when there was a huge windstorm, a tree fell on my brother-in-law's house. And so I'm like, oh, we have like probably 12 trees on our property, and we only live on 1/4 of an acre. So that's a lot of trees for one tiny piece of property. So I'm glad none of the trees fell. Hi, Shawnee. Okay, now let's get back into this. We're talking about corner block B, which is a mirror image of block A. So if you had no problems with A, you should have no problems with B. It's basically we're sewing these rows together, and then sew each row together, and then sew the rows together. The only tips I have for getting your points to line up correctly are making sure that you have trimmed these accurately. Your half square triangles. They should be 3.5 inches for the baby, 5.5 inches for the throw, 7.5 for king and queen. And then when you're sewing them together in rows, I like to make sure the bulkiest part is going through my machine first. I don't really pin these because it's not a huge piece. I just line it up. Then I make sure this bulkiest part is going through my machine first. So I know that that's getting clipped in the correct area, and that's your half square triangle. And you want to make sure that's lined up correctly. Hi, Charlotte. Lots of people jumping on today. So once you have your rows done, you're going to want to, so I got a bunch of rows done. You're going to want to make sure to iron them in alternating directions like it shows in the diagram. When you do that, it makes it a lot easier matching up those seams. Because if one seam is going one way and one seam is going the other way, they'll kind of nest together, kind of like interlocking pieces. I like to think of it as a puzzle, just butting up right next to each other. When I do that, I like to pin, if you can see, I pinned generously at each seam and then in between each seam. Sometimes, I wonder if I can see here, when I sewed the strips together, this strip ended up being a little longer. So when you're lining up those half square triangles, you want to make sure you're lining up this piece. It has a half square triangle, and this one has a half square triangle, right? So you want to make sure, since that's a 1/4 of an inch, and this is a 1/4 of an inch, you want to make sure these two pieces of fabric are lining up. So this one comes up a little bit higher, but we want to make sure the half square triangles are lining up. And then when you go through your machine, you want to make sure your seam is landing right at the triangle, a little bit above the triangle of the half square triangle. And if you do that, that helps your triangles line up better. So see, since we did that, it makes them a little bit closer. So accurate cutting, accurate sewing. Try to sew slowly when you get over these bulky parts. Ow, I just stabbed myself with a pin. Dangerous. Dangerous hobby we have, you guys. So you can see this one, tried to get the whole block done, but I couldn't this morning. I didn't wake up early enough. This one turned out fine. But then if you see this one has a little bit of space. So if you come across that and you're like, oh no, that didn't line up perfectly, either if you can be like, okay, I can live with that, that's not that bad, or you can just unpick this spot right here and try to line it up better, and then just sew that area instead of unpicking the whole row, because that would be a lot of unpicking. These are huge blocks, and you can see the width of it is pretty big. This is the throw size that I'm making, and this one's the baby. So if you can see the difference between the throw and the baby, it's kind of bigger, a lot bigger, right? So you don't want to have to do too much unpicking. If you guys have any questions, let me know. This is a pretty basic block. I've noticed a lot of people are speeding right through it, getting it done. And I guess some people have already finished their quilt tops, which I know some people are, once you get to the part of starting to sew your design together and it starts emerging, it's kind of hard to stop. So I'm like, maybe at the end of the quilt along, I'll do a survey to see like what kind of things you guys liked about the quilts along, what things you didn't like, just to give me some input. This is the first one that I've ever done like on my own. The last one I did was with the National Quilter Circle, and they kind of pushed everything out. I just kind of gave them my pattern. Okay, go play. And so I kind of would like to get your guys' input on that. If you've already finished the top or the whole quilt, you guys could, if you have a few minutes, you can go over to the Craftsy page and leave a review, and that kind of helps me know if you like the pattern. And it also helps other people that are on Craftsy. They see it and they're like, okay, they thought this was an okay pattern. Helps them in deciding if they should make it or not. Am I going to do another quilt along, Mary? I don't have any plans to do one yet. I like them. They're fun. So I'm trying to think what I'll do next. There'll probably be a break because there's a bunch of works in progress that I need to finish. And so, need help? So I'm not sure yet what the next one will be. I don't know if I'll write a whole new pattern for that. I have a few patterns that I have written up already that I have the whole pattern done. I just need to make the actual quilt. So I'm not sure like what the next one will be. If it'll be a sampler pattern or an overall design like this one. That's kind of why I want to do a survey to kind of get your guys' input. So I'm going to see if there's like any kind of survey things online that I could have you guys fill out. If the straight seams line up, I would re-sew the point before unpicking. The only thing about this, so since this point down here lines up a little bit better than the top one, I'd be afraid if I went in, like I probably could, maybe I just didn't do a whole fourth of a seam there. I could try sewing it together a little bit more, but say this point is on and that one's off, it might be because this one slid a little bit and this one didn't. So yeah, just kind of evaluate the situation, and I probably could just like go in a little further and make this one a little bit nicer points. Mary, oh, I'm glad you think these are my quilts alongs easy to follow and understand. That makes me happy. That's a kind of one of the reasons why I want to do the survey, because I'm like, is this quilt too quick and easy? Because so many people are already finishing it. So I'm like, is it too quick and easy? Does it need to be more stuff per week, or is it good? Does it give people a chance to catch up? Because I know some people are still trying to catch up. Amy, you say arrows. Are you talking about the Arrows Away quilt? Do a quilt along with that. That one's super quick and easy. So I don't know. That might be like a 2-week quilt along. Or we could just do like, I could try to do a sampler quilt with all different arrow blocks. That might be fun. Yeah, the Arrows Away goes together pretty quickly. Probably if you like actually set your mind out to it, you probably could finish the top in like 2 days. Yes, any of them. You just love arrow designs. That's what it is, Amy. Yeah, so I don't know. I guess I'll think about that and try to get your guys' input. I know I'll probably at least wait a few months before I start another one. I just need to get some stuff done around the house, get some works in progress finished, get my daughter's snow quilt finished. So then I'll start thinking about the next quilt along with your guys' input, and that'll help me.
Hi.
Oh, good, Mary. So it wasn't too quick and easy. It's just once you get going, it's kind of exciting and hard to stop. That's what I was thinking. I was like, oh no, are people just like, it's too easy to be a quilt along, but I see there's other people still working on it, and you know, if you signed up for 4 other quilt alongs, I didn't want it to be too much work per week, you know, that way you're like, you give up, because I know some people haven't even finished the Snowy Day quilt sampler just because they were in too many quilt alongs, and they kind of gave up on it, and I don't want you giving up. We want a finished product. We want a finished quilt. You want to say hi? No, you're being shy? Okay. Now, if you're making the king size, so, Amy, are you making the king size of this one, or are you talking about your Arrows Away quilt along quilt? I know, maybe I could add king size to that one too. I took a couple of my patterns, current patterns, and added king size to them, because I know that's something that people have been asking about. So I don't know. I guess if nobody has questions about this week, next week we'll be making our You say hi?
Hi.
Hi. Next week we'll be making the arrow blocks, which are basically our connecting pieces. We'll be making 4 arrow blocks, stacked arrow blocks. 2 of them will have 5 flying geese in them, and 2 of them will have 6 flying geese. So make sure I'll do the video on Tuesday, but if you can't watch it, make sure you look at all the directions so you know, okay, this one, yeah, that one only has 5 blocks, but then 2 of them have 6 blocks, okay? Gotta make sure. Yeah, exactly, Shani. That's what I was thinking. Like, I want to make sure people are able to finish and don't get discouraged. And sometimes things come up like, I couldn't sew this weekend because we lost power and had to deal with the car. So, you know, life gets in the way. So maybe I'll try to write up a survey and see what you guys think about what you guys would want to do for the next quilt along. Because I like them and they're fun. Can't do them every single month of the year, but, you know, I'll give myself a break, and then maybe we can start thinking about the next one. But we still have a couple more weeks of this one. Next week, we'll do the arrow block, and then the following week, we'll put all the pieces together to make our top, and then the last week, you know, I guess that week and the last week, you can start basting, quilting. Don't stick your tongue out. Basting, quilting, and binding your quilt. The last steps take a long time. So, you know, you might want to start doing that in the previous week just because basting, quilting, those take a long time. Oh, yes, she's my cutie pie, huh, Roberta? So you're going to make 2 more. Cool, baby ones. The baby ones go together really quick just because the pieces are tiny, too. I like the baby one. It's nice size for a baby, not too big. It's a good size. I like it. So, okay, I guess there's no more questions, so I think I will talk to you guys next week, Tuesday, for sure. Unless anything else comes up, I doubt it, though. So next Tuesday at 10:15. And I hope you guys have a nice week. Have fun sewing. Talk to you guys later. Goodbye.
Goodbye.